It's Thursday again, and we all know what that means. It's put your pants on day. So break out your finest pair of listening devices and join Ziona and Slaygon for a bit of chat live here on Slay Radio.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
For a bit of chat and a little bit more tonight, because we will have some special guests here slightly after 9. So, you can prepare for a nice evening introducing a well-awaited album. So, this is why we are going to talk with the guys. Tomas, Danko, and Clarke, namely. So let's see where we get from here. And in the first hour, of course, we warm up with all your requests. It's the 9th of December. We are slowly approaching Christmas. If you want, you can definitely reflect this in your request, but it's definitely not mandatory. However, there are very nice Sid Christmas albums recently came out. Really appreciate that. So
I had a colleague of mine saying, "Oh, thank God for that playlist. At least now I can have some Christmas songs or whatever, because I hate those regular ones."
Yeah, like I think we all had enough time in our life to listen to the regular version. So finally, something that is a delight for all our ears, and might be that not all your family members will agree on that, but you need some me time as well, right? During Christmas. So
yeah, we'll post the link in the Discord, and if you want to join us on Discord, you can do that by going to slay.radio/discord.
Yep, indeed, there is a discussion. There will be a discussion, most likely. Sometimes there's a separate discussion on YouTube, and on Twitch, I think we are channeling the Discord chat.
Yeah,
right?
there's a bridge.
Yes, so there you can see what's going on. Not on YouTube because technical
reasons.
Yeah, exactly. So, how should we start this special evening? I'd say that Gohex had a very appropriate request here because, well, we all know who did Bobble originally, right? And he requested CZ Tunes version of the title music of that. So Bubble,
bling,
bubble,
bling.
bubble, bubble. Okay, what's the proper translation for this? Bubble, bubble,
Bubble, bubble.
bubble, bubble.
Bubble, bubble.
Yeah.
Bubble, bubble, bubble. Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Yeah, I guess it depends on place around England as well where you come from. So maybe it's easier to determine it like that. And we can ask later on, maybe.
Oh yeah, the author himself. Bubble,
Author.
bubble.
Yeah.
Bubble, bubble. Bubbly, bubbly. Wobbly, wobbly. Well, that's a different,
That's a
different one.
thing. Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Wobbly, wobbly is a different one.
And how was your week?
My week, wobbly, wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly. Timey wimey.
It's icy out there, so wobbly, wobbly.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, paranoid droidated buporek, yes. In
Is that
Hungarian
is
it
that
would
wobbly,
be
wobbly?
almost, yeah,
Buporek?
it's certainly bubble.
Oh, and bubble. I thought it was wobble. Ah well, wobbly, wobble, bubbly, wobbly.
Lobadob. Funky monkey. Yep.
Right. Yeah, my week was well, calmer than I expected it would be. We do have quite a bit to do before all the showings and whatnot this weekend. So yeah, there's been a fair bit of thinking, at least planning internally in my head, and trying to work at the same time. So a bit kind of split brain kind of thing going on, but it's been kind of okay at least.
That would be confusing for me, how you can do that at the same time.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, if you have a problem and you stop thinking about it for a while, then you come up with a solution.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's one of those things. First, you kind of try to figure out what needs to be done, and if you don't have the solution right away, you just leave it aside, and then it'll automatically pop in after a while.
Well, interesting that it pops in when you are working on something else and you still use your brain capacity on that one.
Yeah, you don't use all of your brain capacity for that.
No, of course not, but there are certain tasks that something else just gets you out of the flow and then you are stuck. So, yeah, I appreciate that you can do that. I can't. I'm really bad with this sometimes.
So you never kind of realize something when you're doing something else, and then something else you thought about earlier just randomly pops back into your head
that
with
happens.
a solution.
That happens,
Exactly.
but there are certain tasks that I need to focus on, and then I can't let that happen. That I'm just, this is where I'm going now. Nope, need to stay there for a little while at least in order to complete it.
Yeah, mine was kind of chopped up into smaller pieces, as it were. So I had to kind of look a lot of things up and read up on a bunch of stuff, and then try a few things, and you know, the kind of an iterative process there. And there's a few gaps in there where you leave your brain to do whatever it does. Usually nothing good, at least mine, but.
Well, yeah, I guess we all do it a little differently.
A little bit. But how was your week?
Yeah, it was busy. Some things went live, and that's always an adventurous thing. So when you initiate any sort of thing that is going live, that's usually eventful, and there are things happening that you didn't count on. So everyone knows who deals with websites, I think. And yeah, that happens. So then of course you need to be ready for anything happening there. Other than that, it was really nice. And after the last weekend, I still had some endorphin waves during this week, because it was really a fantastic party on Saturday, and I enjoyed it a lot, and also to play a lot. So yeah, in the future we might do something probably a bit more regular regarding this, now that we are getting there, because well, I definitely changed platform before this, and I needed some adaptation, and the first days were kind of funny. Slaygon were listening to me swearing every now and then. What? Why? But in the end, it all came together, and I'm very, very happy about that. So,
Yeah, it worked out nicely.
yep. And with your video animations and everything, and camera work, everything works out even more nicely. So you are becoming here a streaming pro visually, and it's like, it's been what, 2 years or something like
yeah.
that? Yeah.
And yeah, what she means by that is that, yeah, it looks like, but I'm not.
I think you are doing pretty fine. So,
Yeah,
for
it's-
what we are doing.
Exactly, it works for our purposes, so that's fine. Anyway, do we have something to play?
Yeah, well, we do. And it's Chargo's request, and also appropriate because it's Glinner Brown. And it's Ziona Sisters Aro version. Yay, Glinner Brown, Ziona Sisters Rock version. Kind of.
Rock.
Yep,
It's a very, very nice one.
yep, it's a really, really nice version of that.
Indeed.
And must have been this year, Martin Land, if you want to know, because he was asking that, when was that? Arok, when was that? But this year there was one, so definitely. And Uthar has a birthday today, so a birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Uthar, from here as well. I don't know if you are watching or listening, but Malthus is also sending his greetings to you.
Yeah, and previous request there for CZ Tunes was from Gohanks as well, to Uthar. Happy birthday.
Ah, yeah, right, okay, yeah. Well, thanks for letting me know. I wasn't really sure about that. Oh yeah, best wishes for Uthar, the birthday boy. Yes, sorry. I missed that because that was the first song that we played and totally forgot to add that. So yeah, Uthar, everyone is celebrating you and looks like they remembered. So
well, that is
very, very
so
nice.
So nice.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And it still feels like the start of the evening, and I had a little nap before actually starting to prepare for the evening. I still feel a little bit of I have this
jet lag.
Yeah, a little jet lag of 1 hour.
Nap lag.
Yeah, something like that.
Was it a good nap?
Yeah, it was a good nap.
Oh, good.
And Martin Land answered that it's good to know that it was the last Arok. I was tired of all the online airsats this summer, so I missed that.
Oh.
And you also missed Saturday when everyone said, "Where is Martin Land? Where we need him."
Very true.
Yeah, that was actually surprising. He wasn't around. So anyway, you can always go back to it. So make sure you do.
I think he did, actually. Yeah, I think he commented on it as well. But yeah, very nice. And it was a very, very nice evening with a lot of nice releases, music and graphics, and some really kick-ass graphics entries. And the Sid compo was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I think everyone was like, okay, there's no X this year, but I'm gonna release this thing somewhere, which is Transmission 64. So yeah, the quality of the productions was really almost competing with the X. Well, X is definitely world class, and the amount and the quality together, they are like mind blowing. But yeah. It really started to approach that, and imagine that this is only the second transmission party, so there was no transmission before this year, and the guys are already here, so I don't know how far they will get, but this is certainly a good way to go, I think.
I think they've done a great job on putting all that together, and Anonym of Padua there has been working, well, around the clock, as it were, to get everything together, and he was scrambling to get everything, scrambling or whatever it's called, the last few nights there. So yeah,
that's the party organizer's life. Few days before the party, you don't want to bother them, like you really don't, unless it's very important.
Yeah,
I understand that completely. So
but it turned out really, really nice.
Yes, agreed.
Good for us.
Good for everyone, I guess.
Yes.
So it was really, really nice.
And the right winner for the Sid compo, I think.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, it's seriously, it would be a very hard pick if you would have to pick like one or two, but it was well deserved as well. So definitely congrats, Vincenzo, from here too.
Indeed.
And we actually have Sid lined up right now for Paranoid Raid, because we are going to play Richard Bayliss and Let's Invade 2. If I think that the intro of the song is okay to be on air, probably then Subtune 1, but we thought that, well, Subtune 2 is probably a bit longer as well, and maybe more on air kind of thing. So what do you think?
Yeah,
is that fine with you?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I'm just gonna align it a little bit here. Hold on, I thought I did this already, but apparently not. But I have now.
Yes,
So-
and Saffron, we are taking requests. Yes, in
First
the first hour, definitely we do. After that, nothing is guaranteed, but we will see. So,
Mhm. Yes,
yep, lined up. All
lined
good.
up, ready to go.
Okay.
Going.
Yay! Why not?
Fading is for cowards.
Right. Okay.
Xini says, or Xini, how do you pronounce your name? Xini.
These.
Says, cheaters, no real hardware. Well, yeah, I have a 64 back here, and this little doohickey is a thingy-mabob that you hook in the 64 here and get an HDMI out here, which I'll be connecting to the ATEM Extreme Mini, and this is a Pi 1541. So yeah, things are happening. So soon we will have a real 64, and actually I can hook in an Amiga here as well. I have two Amiga 1000s, one 600 and two 500s.
So it was within the plans to have real hardware and play things from it, but I'm looking forward what kind of difficulties we will bump into during the show when we will do that. So that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna need to switch between the old bread bin here and my old machine, because this one has a 6581 in it, and my old machine has 8580. So
so it's also very important that we have to have at least a 6581 and an 8580 separately. So you make sure that that one is playing when it needs to be playing, and then of course, further difficulties and challenges that we can do.
Yeah, I think during the DJ set you did on transmission, people were asking if that 64 was hooked in. No, it is not.
No, definitely not. You would probably notice that if I would press any buttons on it, so we didn't involve any decoration there. They were just decoration at that point. So
yeah, and Siny says, get a SID-FX with 6581 and 8580. Yeah, that's an option, I guess. And Lala says, get a 15161. Okay, so yeah, I guess they're saying the same thing, because 8580 plus 6581 is 15161. Because reasons.
Thanks, Lala. You are the man of the evening again.
Worthy a golf clap there.
Yep. Cool.
Oh yeah, FPGA SID. Haven't tried that yet, but yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, we can certainly try a lot of things.
But yeah, I guess SID-FX would be better, because then you can actually hook in specific actual SIDs in there.
Yeah, let's see how far we get with the new setup and new arrangement, and probably much more space. We are looking forward to that.
Yeah, what do you say? The new studio is like twice as the size of this?
At least twice as the size.
Yeah,
it has its own kitchen.
Yeah, that is very true. So maybe three times.
Imagine one of us broadcasting and the other one doing like
coffee.
I don't know, scrambled eggs or coffee there. Yeah, we can do that. It's totally doable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tomsk says he has an arm SID. Mine is just a regular arm.
Then you must have leg SID as well. Great, lot of suggestions. So, looking forward to how far we get.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with just the regular 64s and just hook in the one we need, or maybe get two of these things. I did have two. I left one in Stockholm when I was there because I can't remember who it was, but someone needed one of them converters, so I kind of gave it to him. So,
because
anyway.
you're so generous. And Lala added, looking at the t-shirts and the background graphics, I wonder what today's show theme will be. It's a big mystery. Secret. You will figure it out at 9. Well, 9 hour time. How many hours he's behind us? Behind?
6.
Yes, he's behind,
6
right?
6 hours, I think.
Yeah, okay. He's back in time. Okay. Let's play a song here. It'll be better. Better play a song. Crowd Guy from IRC
Oh, 7 hours.
said,
sorry.
"Hello, Ziona. And what about Slaygon? I'd like to request Hardcore Power, We Believe in Goa remix by Defunk. See RKO
I
for
do.
details." Well, the see RKO for details for everyone else, in case you don't know this song, because it's really good. And what about you? What exactly?
What, me?
What are you doing? Yeah, okay, we believe in Goa. I agree with you. Lola got some nice moves there. And yeah, certainly feels like the 4th of July kind of dance.
He says it's the live view from his man cave right now.
Ooh. Okay, that must be a
Nice.
dangerous man cave, though. To be that close to the fireworks, it's,
It's
a
like
bit risky.
cold walking, or what it's called.
Okay, yeah. Although it can work. And yeah, the Discord chat. How did Peter phrase it? Like, how did the chat get from 0 to super nerd in 10 seconds? Because they are asking and talking about Sidulator.
Yeah, we started talking about the 64s and SIDs and alternatives like SID FX and the FPGA SID, and then Danko mentioned the Sidulator, which is hardware level simulation of the chip, not emulation. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Apparently he used that for the Christmas album that he and a bunch of other guys just released.
We might want
with,
to post
SID
that
music.
link, by the
Yes,
way, because
Danko,
it's amazing. Yeah.
Danko, could you post that link to was it Spotify with the SID tracks and whatnot? Because I don't have it handy right now. I can find it pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, probably one of us will. So just go on. Do us a favor. Yeah, found it. Okay, cool.
Now I just need to log into Discord.
And Matus arrived to Discord as well. Danko is here. Matus puts his lederhosen on. Yeah, good move.
Let's see, there we have a thingy. Ta-da! I think that should be it.
Yep.
Whee!
There we go, and you can definitely listen to it after the show. We are not allow you to do that right now. Okay, well, of course.
But we have SIDs on the show as well, so it's fine. It's fine. We might actually not play anything from that playlist.
We might not play anything.
Yeah,
you are very kind.
Not today. There's plenty of good shit we can play later at a later show, because I think we after the viewings on the house and whatnot, we will reassemble the studio, as it were, and we will do shows before Christmas or during Christmas-ish. Well, before Christmas, because
and
you leave on the day after.
Yeah, for a little while it won't feel like we are living from boxes, because this is what we are doing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, let's say that we just need to go through the next week and then everything will be fine. So yeah, definitely check out that album, because it's amazing, and you can definitely use it as a background music during your Christmas celebrations, or your family appreciating it.
Well, it's recognizable melodies and whatnot, so I can't see why they would complain. It's definitely better than Mariah Carey's Wailing, I guess. Mariah Carey, yes, Quarry.
Okay. Well, yeah. So anyway,
too much database.
It's a good material for Christmas. Trust us, it's really worth to check it out. But tonight we are not going to talk about that album unless Danko brings it up as well. So we are talking about another album tonight after 9. That's the thing. So let's set the focus here, guys.
Yeah, so 16 minutes to go before we get to that topic.
Yes, but before that we still play some requests. Like right now, I need to play something for Saffron, who always promises me that he will color his hair to the same color as I have, but right now he will color it green. So anyway, he wants to hear Mitch and Dane and Gloria, the Sid.
Yeah.
So you have it lined up, I think.
I do.
Yep.
I just need
Go
to
for
check that we are not muted. We are not! So we are good to go.
Fantastic. Go.
Gone. and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Tinky 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 ting ting tinky 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 ting 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 ting.
If you would do a potential set, I'm looking forward to how you will dance with.
I won't. I
Why
will only
not?
leave my fingers movable. The rest will be duct taped to a chair.
To a chair? Who is doing set sitting?
Oh, it would be interesting.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well. Oh well. Let's see where we get from there. Yes, there are some projects in discussion right now.
A couple.
We won't tell anything yet, but
We just did.
yeah, I think that there might be something regular coming up. So
Ah,
shortly.
Chubby,
Hi,
join us.
Chubby. Nice to see you around. Where were we? We were at the fact that we have 12 minutes to go, and then we can welcome the guest of the day. How
You seem
cool
to
is
be
that?
ready to go right now.
They seem to. They seem to be. Do you want to put them on air right now?
Ah!
Come on. There needs to be a curve here, like a tension curve.
Yeah, that was a tension curve.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. It's almost like when you are saying goodbye when we finish a show.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye then. Bye.
Yeah. Instead, we have the longest hello and welcome part here.
Well, I'm so sorry. I'm
No,
not.
no, I started that now with the thingy mabob and whatnot. It's fine.
We didn't
good.
start to welcome them yet.
No,
so
I
they
know.
are just waiting.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
We just keep them waiting, because that's what we do. Anyway, where were
I do
we?
see that one of our guests is not wearing the proper attire.
Oh, how come?
I don't know. He's special.
Is he?
That's why.
Okay. Yeah, don't tease them just yet. We still have 10 minutes
Yeah,
to go.
it's mean. They can't respond right now. Anyway,
Yeah, you
so-
can say whatever you want. Oh, they will take a revenge on you.
Oh yeah. I'm
pretty sure.
certain.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so looking at our queue here. How about some Christmas music?
Oh, yeah.
We will get there. I can see that we will get there. So what do we think? Just to tease everyone for Xmas 64, which is the album's name, which is available on Spotify, and we posted the link on Discord. And well, let's see about that. White Christmas, for instance. What do you think?
That sounds great.
Because it seems like it's gonna be white now, at least around here in Sweden. Hope at other places too.
It
because it's
started
very
raining
nice.
away now.
Oh no,
Yes.
no. I
Yes.
really hope that the snow doesn't go away entirely until Christmas. But
It will. It's Gothenburg.
you are so disappointing sometimes. Okay,
I know.
let's try this, shall we?
Let's see if we can get any audio out of there.
Yeah, that
Play.
is actually that is a very, very good question, because I see that we are not able to.
What happens if you press the actual play button?
Actually, nothing happens. Actually, we are here somewhere, and I have this, and I cannot really switch tracks here. So, no, don't ruin it.
I have the play button here.
Yes, and it doesn't do anything. That's the thing.
This is why.
Oh,
Install
God.
app. Ah, god damn it.
So we can't play anything because we didn't install the app, and you won't install the app because you are too afraid.
Yes, well, on this machine, but
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
know.
I'll open it here. Hold on.
Okay,
Give me a
please,
second. Which one
please
was
do
it
that
again?
then.
Which one was it again?
White Christmas, the
Alright,
third
yeah,
song,
hold on.
maybe.
No way. Fucking Nemo balls and whatnot.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Let's see.
Go for it.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Wants me to actually log in.
Really?
Why?
Really?
Log in.
You are logged in here too.
Am I?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter,
Uh-huh.
apparently.
Uh-huh. Anyway, play something else.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
What
Paranoid
a
Droid.
disappointment!
Yeah, thanks, Paranoid Droid. Perfect.
Oh, God. Okay, so what should we take? Ah, that would be probably nice. Marcus Schneider, Golden Axe, Christmas edition. Huh?
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 Huh? Just doing.
No, this was a very family-friendly remix. No one can say that it wasn't, right?
How is it family friendly? Because it's slow. Don't families like up-tempo music as well?
No, probably they do. But this actually could be like Christmas music as well, if we wanted to, like an actual one.
An actual one?
Actual one without blippy bloppy things that annoy some type of people.
It could be.
Maybe.
Ever
so slightly. But yeah, it can work.
Right on Titan, anyway. It's 9-ish.
Is it time yet?
It's time. It's time. I have rainbow puked both guys because we got some compression errors. So we got just very weird colors all over the place. But I think we now have them live. Right there.
You think?
They are. Yes, right there they are. Hello, Danko. Hello, Peter Clarke.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Peter Clarke. That sounds like if you would tell me hello, Erika Whitman. No.
True.
Hello, guys.
Up.
Nope. You are not allowed to do that.
You can explain the webcam issue.
Yeah, I'll let Danko explain that one.
Oh, no, don't. He'll just be abusive. You know he will. Any excuse.
Oh my god, guys, you look so tired. Go to sleep. What are you doing here? Stop working on the album already.
We're almost there, aren't we? Home straight. The release date is the 26th of January. So we're round the final bend and we're heading for the finish line.
Nice.
So
you did it on purpose.
It's been 10 long months, but it has been a labour of love. When we get to the 26th of January, I no longer have to deal with this other person who's broadcasting with me this evening.
And he is very much in silence right now.
He's in screensaver mode, isn't he?
Yeah.
He will wait until we all stop talking and then he will start.
Hold on. Looks like we can't actually hear him.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Didn't you do a technical test?
I did. Oh, you muted, Danko. Because
Am I muted?
You were.
Oh, the audio engineer strikes again.
No, they censored me for all the bean things I said about you.
Welcome to the show. How are you, Danko?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm really good. Yeah. How are you, Ziona?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alive.
Just so you know.
Well, me too. I'm still alive. Yeah. It's good. And Slaygon, yourself?
All good. Thank you for asking. And you guys, like I said,
I'm gonna wind my neck in now and let Ziona take the lead. I'm gonna shut up.
So what you have been up to, guys, in the latest months?
we have no idea.
Well, as I said when I was muted, I was done with my tracks for Encore64 for like 5 months ago. So I've just been sitting here waiting for everybody else, especially Peter.
Oh, his fault. Okay.
Yeah, your reputation for being premature was already known. So, yeah,
Hence the kids, or
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't.
Oh my goodness.
It's very tactical that it will be the 26th of January, because if I think of that, Christmas is finishing and you still have a month to adjust things, right? How cool is that?
Yeah, I think most of the adjustment will probably be done before we get to Christmas, but I'll let Tomas speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would agree that we're pretty much done. Let's say 95% done. And some people got separation anxiety of their babies, and they don't want to leave them just yet. They want to ponder
Just one more
tweak.
thing.
I'm not gonna point fingers and Glenn Brown and Romeo Knight. But other than that, we're done, and most of the tracks are already first pass mastered. However, I will do a final pass in January when we do a full montage, so that all the songs have the same tonality and loudness, even though they are mastered already, like for final album composite. And that's gonna be happening after Christmas. But other than that, I think even if we would take like the work in progresses that are still not completely done, I would be completely happy to release them as is. Did you hear that, Romeo?
Should we call him in?
Because they're already sounding really final to me. It's just that the originators do not agree. We'll give them some more time. It's still December, right?
There's a phrase that Mr. Danko has made me familiar with, and the phrase is "murdering your darlings," and it's what you do when you take your beloved arrangement and composition and you hand it over to somebody else to mix and master, and you just think, "Oh my God, he's murdered it! What has he done to it?" Because you're so deaf by the time that you finished with your remix. That you're really not hearing it anymore. You're hearing all the lovely tasty bits that you put in there, but you're just not hearing the overall mix.
Yeah, it's like headlights in a snowstorm.
It's the saying in mastering engineering where you only get to hear a track for the first time once. So you kind of get blind in what you're doing, and you don't hear it at face value as somebody else will. And that's one of the advantages of having somebody else do final mastering on your music. Even if you technically can master your own stuff, you've just heard it into oblivion, so you have no clue what needs to be done quite often. So
yeah.
Totally agree with that. And Danko has become known as a serial killer in our group. Because obviously he's murdered a lot of darlings in the process of making this album.
Danko, how about your own songs? Because we know that you are really competent when it comes to the mastering part. But what happens when you keep listening to your own darlings? So do you ask for like external help to balance anything, or your ears are completely balanced even after the 100th listening?
Yes, I'm the exception of the rule. No, it is difficult, and I do rely on brutal honesty from colleagues. So I have others within the team, the group of the merry people who work on this album, to give me feedback. And I think some people say, yeah, it sounds good, it sounds fine, but the hardest critique has usually come from Vincenzo. And it's been like, no, I don't agree. And then like, yeah, actually I agree. And you go through all the phases, and then eventually, oh, I'm gonna do what he said, and then you do that, and like, oh, it's better. It's an improvement. So you're having your friends give you harsh feedback, and then you actually take it seriously eventually, and then you do the alterations. And so that's kind of how I've been able to work on mastering my own stuff, by having other people tell me what's not working, even with the mixing, but of course mainly the mastering.
Yeah, and if we talk about other people, I think we would need right now like a full lineup of the album, because not everyone might know who is participating. So you two obviously managing as well, but there is also Vincenzo, Romeo Knight, and let's continue this lineup.
Glenn R. Brown.
Yes.
Fred Gray.
Yes.
And it's Fred's first published work in over 2 decades. So we're really stoked to have him on the album with us. He took a little persuading not a lot, and it's been really good to have him on the album. And there was kind of a plan to see if we could get some of the ex-Ocean guys onto the album, and we've ended up with Fred and myself.
Ended up with what a pity.
Say again, Erica. What did you say?
Ended up
You
with
ended up with what a pity.
Scrape the bottom of the barrel or what?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, with some of the names I've just mentioned, you can tell how scrapey the bottom of the barrel is. So Romeo Knight, Vincenzo, and Tomsk, who was he's kind of he isn't a newbie, because he actually dates back all the way to the very early 2000s with 2 remixes which he did on a PlayStation 1, would you believe?
Yeah.
Which is an absolute laborious task for programming music. And of all tracks, he did Knuckle Busters, which is, as you will well know, is not a short track. So to do that on a PlayStation 1, it kind of demonstrated his endurance and his resilience to us. But truthfully, it's just the case that I've been working with him, just kind of helping him along a little bit with DAW stuff, and some arranging tips and things. And he has absolutely come on leaps and bounds. And he kind of, with his first real DAW remix, managed to hit number 6 in the anniversary competition against 49 competitors, which is something to be very, very proud of. And this remix that he's got on Encore64 is another huge step up in terms of quality and just the arrangement within it. So it's a really interesting bunch of people. It's great interacting with other really good musicians. And the not surprising thing, but the really encouraging thing is when it comes to feedback on work in progress, people may be critical, but they're always supportive and they're really constructive in the things that they say. And that has really helped to deliver the overall kind of Encore64 quality, if you will. Would you agree, Mr. Danko, with that?
Yeah, it's a labor of love. I mean, so initially everybody got to choose to remix whatever SID they wanted to remix, and we just said like, oh, which one do you want us to do? If I'm gonna be part of this, like, no, we don't decide. Nobody decides but you. Anything that you really want to do, anything that you feel you will be very motivated and have fun doing, that's all we care about. And then it became quite an eclectic selection of SIDs.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention eclectic variety of genres as well. So yeah, it is a labor of love, and I hope that people will hear that everybody had fun doing it, except when I had to mix Peter's stuff. That was I was just joking. There's also been all sorts of combinations of collaboration. So one person is remixing another colleague's original SID, and then another person is helping mixing it, and then somebody needs a bit. So for instance, there's a track that Fred did with Heat Shows, Jeroen Tel, Tintin on the Moon, because he had this idea that he wanted to jam off with the keyboard, and so he did, and then he did the original first setup and sent it to me. And then as I was working on it, then there was something that I felt I wanted to add, but it wasn't really kind of my forte. So I asked Peter, like, I know that you're good at doing these things, could you please help me with this bit? And then he delivered some horns that are now the favorite part of my part of that track. So it's been quite an amazing combination of helping people out and so on. sharing ideas and from technical to arrangement wise and so on. It's been really fun, even though there's been a lot of work for everybody.
That sounds amazing. And if we talk about highlights, then maybe it's time to play one. What do you think?
Yeah, by all means.
By all means, yeah. And
Oh, come on, Cam. Come on.
it always
Focus.
feels like the master is saying no.
It's a secret.
Stop.
This is a secret. This is a secret code that it's not the TikTok one. This is not as serious, but that means something when Peter does it, and you don't want to know what's happening.
You know what? So
Sorry, go on, Nick.
Yeah.
Interrupted you there.
no, it's just radio. We might play some song as well. I was thinking that there is a song that might sound familiar to some people, I think, and we might want to start with that one because I think that this is the definitely advanced final version of that kind of, and this would be Stationary Arc by Peter Clarke. And there we go again. And this was a stationary arc that we all can be familiar with. from this year. Actually, this year, yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, this year was so long and so short at the same time. But because we had all those competitions, it's confusing. Like there was the Remix 64 20th anniversary competition, and there was the Arrow Party competition, and there were a lot of releases. And it's crazy already, like very hard to think back, like what happened at the start of the year.
Yeah, and Z-Duder says, fade outs are for lamers.
Another critics, eh?
There was actually a fade out initially, and then I said fade out, that's for lamers. So just edited and did that ring, the last chord ring out. And Peter said, yeah, you're right. One of the ideas that didn't suck, so let's keep that. But yeah, it's nice to
I think
fade out. So
yeah, I think Peter is trying to gather his chi.
Yeah.
And the ring looks great, Peter.
Yeah, it's one ring to rule them all, definitely. That tends to put it back in focus. So.
Yeah, I noticed that in the pre-testing that when he tried to get the focus, he kind of grabbed onto that ring on his hand.
Oh, webcam. It's on a normal video chat in an evening, I probably have to refocus my webcam about 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. I've probably done it more than that already. So look at it go out of focus. It's completely predictable that on a live broadcast it's bound to go out of focus, isn't it? I mean, it's just gonna happen.
When it goes out of focus, your skin looks very young and smooth. So it's cool, good.
There's a 25-year-old living in this body. I've just had a hard life.
Like with all those posters, like no one said. I don't think that being developer is a stressful thing. And then there is an 80-year-old man, like 25 years old. Yeah, so that's actually not that funny when I'm talking about it. But anyway, because it's more funny when you see it. Anyway, get back to our topic now. So, where were we? I was still at the competitions, yes, but we got back to the album right now.
Yeah, and cooperations and whatnot we were at.
Cool.
So there was something about this track, wasn't it, Peter? And with our dear buddy Tomsk as well. What was that? Somebody picking a track.
Well, Tomsk played me his version of Stationary Arc round about Christmas of last year, and it was really good. Well, it is really good. The finished track is really, really good. And I suggested a couple of things to him. He worked really hard on it. He entered it for the competition. And having heard it suggested itself to me for the album. And I thought that would make a really good album track, but it needs a different treatment. I need to give it a different kind of remix than has been done before. And the majority of the remixes that have been done before were very, very piano-based remixes. And so I really wanted to kind of go acoustic and a little bit more organic and make it a slow build over about 3 minutes. And had absolutely no intention of entering it into the competition until the 11th hour. And my plan all along was to kind of say to this man who sat next to me, will you put a track into this competition just to give us a little bit of awareness out there of the album? Just put anything out there and call it the Encore64 preview mix. And then it didn't happen, and it was the 11th hour, and where shall we go? And Stationary Arc was kind of the nearest to finished. And so that was the one that went in. So Tomsk holds a special place in his heart for me. Because are
you sure it's in his heart?
I put my Stationary Arc into the competition and it kind of won. But I still maintain he's got nothing to be upset about coming 6th out of 49 with his first full remix, which he made in Reaper. I think it's a sensational track.
Yeah, and there were very many very good tracks on there as well. The other 40-something were really good.
He will not let me forget.
Another thing was that because historically, the last decade or so, there's been a lot of like symphonic orchestral remixes from Peter. And, dude plays the mean guitar. He's been doing it since the 70s, live and rock and prog. So I kept pushing for that. Like, please, Pete, can't you just do more prog, do more rock, do more guitars? Everybody are using their DAWs and their virtual synth plugins. You can actually play. Can you please do that? And this was kind of the first track where you started adding those elements, and still, because the competition was blind, wasn't it? And still people picked it up like that's Peter Clarke. And so that's pretty cool, because it shows that you do have your own style and aesthetics regardless of how you approach it. But having said that, this led to more guitars, and I'm very pleased that there's a lot of prog rock coming out of Peter on Encore64, which is also, to me, well needed in everybody else's EDM remixes or symphonic remixes, so that's pretty cool.
And overall, if we talk about the genres, then could you define it? Like, is there any focus style of music, or it's completely blended?
I think that there's maybe just a very slight leaning towards electronic music. But if you kind of list the genres across the tracks, electronic music probably only wins by one track, maybe two, but no more than that. I mean, we go from acoustic folk to bluegrass, country, to hard rock, to prog rock, to symphonic, to cinematic, to synthwave, retrowave, and of course then we end up at the other extreme with this man sat next to me. Dirty industrial electronica. He always likes to sit at the back of the class, you know what I mean, and play on.
That would be my next question, actually, because what you just told, Peter, right from the start, I think the first at least 10 genres are on your side. So these are things that you usually do. But when I think of Danko, I much more think of EDM type of things, and I don't know, of course, recently about all his works that he has done, but this is my first association. So how did you align with your Unfilter and his orientation?
For me, I've kind of discovered a new tolerance.
Why, thank you, Peter, for tolerating what I do.
For us, music in general. I think the thing that happens to you is when you listen to really, really good examples of any genre, assuming you're not somebody that's completely shut off to that, if you're open to it, you kind of admire, you still admire things like the arrangement within it, the elements that have gone into it, and I think that with everything from kind of synthwave to EDM to industrial on Encore64, that's what's happened to me. I've heard these tracks as they've developed, and then I've heard the final versions of them, and some of them have absolutely blown me away, which is not something, they're not words that you would probably expect to hear coming out of my mouth when I'm talking about
not really
unsy type music. Although I don't know, is there anything on the album, Thomas, that's actually that we would call uns?
Well, depends what but let's say so there's a like 90s piano house track on there. So that's a bit soft antsy. And then we have a retrowave track, so a Sardax Sid by Vincenzo. That is very retrowave, but that's not antsy, is it? It's just retrowave in a really nice way. And then I did a two-step hard electronica. I would say that's maybe the most EDM-y one, with a cover that I did, or was it from Dane, Eskimonica. And that is, I guess, probably the harshest sounding track on the album, because the sounds are like, electric failure and then very loudly mixed.
Savage.
And, yeah, so that's quite a harsh track. But other than that, I think anything electronic goes more into moody electronica, and then, as you said, like thematic, soundtrack, cinematic, as you said. So for instance, Glyn, he's adding quite a lot of electronic elements to his tracks, and I just love that, because that's kind of what I really dig listening to. And then he keeps it in the cinematic, genre, so to speak. So yeah, it's not an Ant album. It's not just Four on the Floor. I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I would agree.
Yeah, and after all these exchange, because during a cooperation a lot of exchange happens, and of course, as Peter said, you develop the tolerance. Can you imagine, guys, that each one of you is ever doing, like, let's say Danko is doing some prog rock stuff later on, and you will do some EDM, maybe, or retro wave, or anything similar. Would this be possible ever?
I can see Danko doing at least a more organic type, because he's a very competent piano player himself. So he could definitely do something, I don't know, 60s kind of a funk town thingy with a nice Hammond organ or something. Didn't you have a group that did a Hammond type thing as well?
Yeah, we were playing live at a couple of venues back then. It's like, I don't know, 20 years back or more, where we're
On EDM. I think it's the way that your brain is wired, and if you're looking at a SID, you're listening to a SID, and you're thinking about, how can I treat this? Is that a SID that I want to pick up and I want to give a new treatment to? It's the musical tricks that go through your head as you listen to the SID that kind of dictate where you end up taking that SID in terms of arrangement and style and genre. And I think because EDM and associated genres are not kind of first base for me, they're not the first place that I go to in terms of thinking about music, that's probably why I've not really produced a truly electronic remix.
But that's also the thing with when we said that people got to choose what SID they wanted to remix, and then what genre to do it in. For instance, I had no plans of doing a 90s piano house, and then I listened to another remix of that SID. That actually Vincenzo, I keep bringing him up, but amazing musician and great guy. He actually lives 300 meters from here, and we work at the same office. But anyway, and he did a different kind of take at it, and then when I listened to his, I started hearing another thing, like a figure for an instrument, and then that led me to like 80s piano house, and then in 90s mix, and that's why like, let's see if it works, and it kind of worked, and then I just went with it, and eventually I'm done with the track. Same thing with Romeo Knight. He did a Fred Gray track, Shadowfire, isn't it? And he first had an idea also to do some kind of prog slow thing, but then some of the harmonies in the song, they really lend themselves for like progressive metal, he discovered, like, this is like when he started to take out all the harmonies, which he does only by ear. And he was playing them up and down the guitar, the fretboard. He started feeling, well, this is actually more like John Petrucci and Dream Theater. And then, like, yeah, I have to do a progressive metal track out of this. That wasn't initially his plan, but it led to that. So you're seeing more and more of that. Same thing with Chenzo. First did like a psytrance thing, and then it kind of went into retrowave, and it fit even better there. So it's been an organic evolution here, and nobody's been forced, like, you do this and then you do this and you take that truck and turn it into that. Everybody just did whatever they wanted and what it felt like, and I hope that's going to be audible.
Yeah,
maybe we can hear something about it now. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like now, Lala added like a few minutes back that blah blah blah, less speech, more music, please. And you just talked about the take of the formata that you did, and of course we know that Vincenzo did 2 takes of that earlier as well, because there was one take that I believe was called like 16 years later or something. So the track that you have been talking about, that you took to another level right now and another type of style, is the formata, and its name is Move Your Border Remix. So, Danko.
Waka 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 waka.
Those were some massive 90s sounds as well.
Indeed.
Combined with everything. I like it.
Oh,
Thank you.
love the bass in that.
Yep.
First time I heard that, I had my small earbuds in. Even then, just need to go down to the studio and hear that one on the big sub under the table.
And it's not even particularly your style. It's more like my style.
Oh, that's very Danko style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Danko style.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Okay, of course.
I have to remind you that I've been hearing Danko style since, what is it, 88, 89, somewhere around there, when we called each other to play each other's SIDs over the monitor, over the phone.
Yeah, it's been over 3 decades, I guess.
It's a long time to be married, guys. Isn't
It
You
is.
know?
There was like a daily basis, you know.
Yeah, hours.
Keep hours. Yeah. Nowadays, people just go on Discord and they just play with the server and the bot. We used to call each other and hold like this, like like flathead.
Yeah. Did you hear that thing I put in the middle?
11 kilohertz.
Yeah. Or
Bits.
on a good day.
Yeah. Peter, did
6
you
to
do
8
similar
kilohertz.
things?
Say again, Erica.
Did you do any similar things early on, like showing music on the phone?
No.
They had to just do the beat with a telegraph. You know?
Yeah. No, by the time you guys were doing that, I was probably out and about on the road with the band. My history's kind of well known now. I kind of dipped into the SID music for around about 18 months, and then more or less totally dipped out. And the band that I was with was working hard. We were working 4 or 5 nights a week. And I've spoken about the subject of the longevity of SID music before. I don't think there was anybody who was writing SID game music at that time in the mid to late 80s who really thought that the music would last longer than 6 or 12 months. That it really was just going to be for the purpose of the game. It would end up with the game in the bargain bin, and then it would end up in the real bin. And that would be that, and it would never survive. And wonderfully, here we are, you know, it's kind of almost 40 years on, and the music's still alive. The music's still being remixed and reimagined. And the beauty of the remix scene, of course, is the reimagining. It's the way that it's where people take SID tunes. And I think that with Remix 64 as well, the audience has become more and more mature and more evolved in terms of being able to listen to very different arrangements of SIDs and appreciate good music. And of course, the technology has moved on massively. The stuff that we can do at home now is so sophisticated and evolved. And if you want proof of that, look no further than Glenn, who's just completed a soundtrack for an Italian company, which it'll actually get used in a Netflix series. The music, that's full professional soundtracks being produced.
Yeah,
in
it's
a home
amazing.
studio.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do nowadays.
And the technology to do it is now there. It's an amazing and it's a really, if you're musical, it's a really good thing.
Yeah,
but the same goes with the SID. So this is another thing. We've had so many albums and live concerts where everybody play the same 20 SIDs from mid 80s, and I mean things kind of evolved there and still is, right? If you listen to the SIDs of musicians today, you know, you think you knew what you were doing in the 90s, and then you know you have people doing stuff today that is just like you're knocking it out of the park. And this thing is that so you have musicians in the 90s and onwards that made demo music that also did way cooler stuff technically on the 64 than any of the early games, right?
Yeah, second generation, absolutely.
We don't dig Action Biker because of the sounds, do we? But it's advanced than like something from 1982 or whatever, right?
Or even current, like recent this year or last year SIDs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing SIDs, you know, and releasing them on and off, and trying to keep up with
the Commodore.
others. And exactly, and trying to keep up with the Commodore. But yeah, so it's not just people doing music in the bedroom on DAWs, but also that the SIDs are very evolved now, and that's also awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much new fangled things out there. Like it's unbelievable that yellow thing right there in my shelf, SID Chip Club by Elman. Just unbelievable that it can actually run on an unmodified 64. And it's like, back in the 90s, did you think we could get that out of that little bread bin?
But there's also the thing with we didn't know a lot of what we were doing then, at least if I'm speaking about myself. And then eventually you become a professional musician, a professional commercial sound engineer. You start going into synthesis. You maybe even develop and build synthesizers with some people. And then you suddenly go back to the SID chip and like, yeah, I actually know stuff now. So I can do things that I had no idea when I was 14 years old or 18 years old, and that's paid forward as well. So you have new generation doing SIDs, but they are well adversed in how to use, this kind of synthesis, and the software is also a lot better, as you say, and a lot more available. I mean, Peter, you were hacking some assembler back then as well, right? Eventually, it was, yeah. So, and now you have Go Tracker and SID Factory 2 and all that, and the knowledge. So that's the thing. So I'm doing sounds on the SID now because I understand synthesis way better because of stuff I've been doing as an adult, professionally, as opposed to when I was 18, 20 years old. And I loved synthesizers and made music, but, and I think that's also stuff you're seeing from Jammer and so on, and they are applying knowledge, deep knowledge that maybe not everybody had back then, even if you could code it, right?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that the demo scene was the place where the SID chip would be exploited far more than the games scene. With certainly it would never be exploited to that extent within an orthodox games company. So speaking from experience of being at Ocean, for instance, you wrote music within the parameters that Commodore laid down for the SID chip, because what you couldn't afford was to cut some corner or pull some fancy trick off, and it didn't run on 500 Commodore 64s that were out there. And you got 500 games returned because the game didn't work. So you always played safe, and you always kind of wrote within the set parameters of what the manual said you could do. The demo scene had no such constriction.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They could absolutely stretch the envelope, and indeed did.
Yeah,
but that's likewise why all the big game engines today are actually de facto created by sceners, and all the big companies forming with their own game engine making these huge games, they're all sceners, pretty much all of them.
Yep.
It's all from the demo scene, because they pushed the limits of the hardware, doing things that no off-the-shelf software application could ever do, and they could optimize, and now they're making games.
Yep. Many people from the demo scene. So yeah, I was actually thinking that if we talk about the recent capacity of the SID, I would give another chance for one track at least of the Christmas album that we wanted to play some things from, and I'm really trying everything here to make it work. So
you can play it from your computer as well.
That's not hooked in at the moment.
Yeah, Spotify is hard.
You have the cable right next to it.
Hang on, just
5 seconds.
Just one try.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey!
look at that! It works. Okay, there we go. And this was Feliz Navidad. And Danko, if I read it right, it was actually you. But it says Danko and various artists. I guess you
Yeah,
refer...
that track was me all along.
Yeah.
And also, did you notice Slaygon fade out? Oh, that's for labors. Because the original loops, but I made sure that it did not loop. On the album.
Yep, I noticed.
I would be surprised if it starts to loop on Spotify, though. So that would be interesting.
On YouTube, 10 hours of
Yeah.
Feliz Navidad Sid version.
Only the first few bars, 10 hours of it.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know many things are
Dun, dun,
getting...
dun, dun.
I know many things are uploaded in 10-hour versions. So was that too? That's...
I don't think that's permitted according to the Geneva Convention. So your idea of that remix, I think it's cruel.
Wow.
Well, maybe not the Geneva Convention, but I don't think they care over at Guantanamo.
Feliz Commodore, says Lala. And he's right.
Yeah, Feliz Commodore.
That would work.
Play all your SIDs to me right about now. Well, needs work on the lyrics.
Yeah, and we pretty much talked about a lot about you two guys, and let's mention. We already mentioned the others as well, but it's like how was the cooperation with them, and how cumbersome or how great it was, or how did it happen? Because
how much of a bother was Tomsk is what she's asking.
Tomsk and Glyn and Romeo Knight, and you know.
I'll let Thomas comment on Tomsk because they've become best friends. So.
Who?
Yeah.
Tomsk.
Yeah,
Talking about?
go on.
Tomsk.
Yeah, Tomsk, your best friend.
No idea.
Snowflake. Yeah. That's
Where does that come from?
Snowflake. Yeah, there's a lot of things I could tell you about Snowflake, but let's not. However, I think that there was a lot of collaboration with Peter, although you did none of the music. It was more about technicalities, right?
Yeah, sure.
So Snowflake did all of that all by himself. And I took the remix and I put it right there on the fridge door. Right there on the fridge door.
We should get some
I know
Slay
it
Radio
was actually
magnets.
amazing because it's like somebody who keeps saying, "Oh, I'm not used to this," and I'm not, Some of us work indoors for a living, pretty much, and he did not. And then all that talk about difficult. I have to figure out how to do it, and then you get the track, and it's like, yeah. So where's the problem? Because I can't hear none. I only hear a fantastic arrangement, so that was pretty cool, and I think we're gonna hear a lot more from Tomsk, but who else? We spoke about Glenn and we spoke about Vincenzo.
Yep.
You already heard from Tomsk. He said, "You total Danko."
On Discord.
Yes.
Just
I
now.
can read it. Yeah, I can read it. I'll make a comment about Tomsk. The only thing that his remix lacked at the point where he kind of declared it finished was just a good mix and a good master. It needed no more than that. The content and the arrangement were absolutely superb. It just needed shaping. That was the only thing it needed. I don't think he'll ping anything critical at me for saying that. He might do, but I don't think he will. And it really, really did turn out. There's a reason why it's the last track on the album, and it's not because Danko hates him. It
Get
really
to the back of the
is.
queue.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's absolutely because it is that finishing track. It's just got that feel to it completely, of just rounding off the album.
Yeah, initially it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be like 10th or 11th track, and then it's like no, it felt like it was unfair to the subsequent tracks, because you were done listening to the album, because that was like the emotion of that remix. So then we had to put it last, but it's as you say. So like we've all been kind of picking each other's brains and also borrowing others' time and effort on various things. Like I said, on the Tintin track that I did with Fred, there's some horn stuff that Peter sent me, and I could never have done anything as good for that purpose. So not afraid to ask. Same thing here. Like Tom's did some amazing arrangements. Mixing, it wasn't completely balanced, and then Peter helped him a bit with that, and it's done. On the other hand, like Glyn, he sent me Cyberdyne Warrior, and I'm like, your stuff sounds awesome, I can just master it for you. And then he sends me stems to mix. I'm like, but I don't need to mix your stuff, it's so good already. But I want you to give it a shot. And then I didn't listen to his reference mix. I just started mixing it myself, and then when I was pretty much done, I started A/B listening, and it was almost the same mix. It wasn't that much different. So I told him, you know what, next track, just send me the map.
Yeah, stop wasting my time.
Because the stuff is already so awesome. So turns out that I'm not needed to mix that stuff. His I can't beat the mix. So we've been like helping each other out with different things that everybody like are have different knack for, which is also pretty cool, because there's not been like as you said, Peter, nobody's been afraid of asking for help, or feeling that if I I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, or not that I'm vulnerable. None of that. It's been really cool. I'm sure that everybody involved here will be working together and hanging out together, for the foreseeable future, at least. Let's say that. No,
for now.
There's a lot of friendship. We do bantering, but it's been really cool. And when the album is done, I think we're gonna have anxiety to not have anything that draws us together, like a reason to keep the banter up or the collaboration. So we're probably gonna do something else later on. But right now it's the Encore64 thing that we need to finalize and submit.
Indeed. And
out in the wild.
That said, actually, unfortunately, we can't show you Tom's track right now because it's still a secret. But we can tell as much that it's not stationary arc.
Oh, look, there it is. I saw it.
What did you see?
The track.
Oh God!
You can certainly say what the track is, and obviously people can go over to Encore64.com and hear a 30-second preview of all the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's little
sneak
snippets
peek
to be heard.
Yeah,
just
indeed.
sneaky peekies to be
Sneak
heard.
peek.
Definitely.
And meanwhile, we can definitely switch back to his previous track, since his latest track we have played today, because it was already requested. But Shadow Switcher was actually released in 2020. So I believe that Tom's released one track in 2020, and that was Shadow Switcher. So,
it was.
Yeah, indeed. So as not a sneak peek, but just what you can expect from this guy is around here now. If it plays. Yes, now it does. And this was Tomsk and Shadow Switcher, and definitely a quick fade out on there. And I need to correct myself, and you see Tomsk is already, I'm confusing you with Glyn, because Glyn was requested at the start of the show, and we also played Stationary Arc from Peter, so I was obviously confusing things here. So we didn't play Tomsk's latest track on RKO is Stationary Arc, obviously. That was also the remix competition participant, as we talked about it before. But yeah, probably one Stationary Arc in a show is kind of shows anyway the potential of the track. So getting there. But yes, Tomsk, I think, takes like huge leaps. And you can definitely hear that between 2020 and 2021 as well, when it comes to the tracks. So
massively between 2001, where
Definitely.
his first 2 tracks were, and to 2020, which is this track, and then the next one, the year after, massive leaps all through.
Yeah.
Very happy to
He's
see
somebody that I feel will be quite prominent in the upper half, if not the top few of the 30-day remix charts constantly throughout
Yep.
2022. Tomsk is one of those people where you go watch this space.
He's like the Mordi of the 20s.
that. He's the Morty of the year.
Yeah.
The Morty of the year.
If Tomsk has anything like the success of Morty, I'm sure he would even a quarter of the success of Morty, he would be delighted, I'm sure. Without a doubt. So have we mentioned everybody? Have we talked about everybody? We talked about Vincenzo, we talked about Romeo Knights, Tomsk.
Vincenzo, maybe we could talk about him a little bit as well, because, well, I know him for 22 years, 23 years now. Of course, he wasn't living working 300 meters away from me, like right now from Danko, living and working. Sorry, yeah.
And working in the same office and living 300 meters away.
Yeah, exactly.
But you've been moving around. You've been like, you've been stalking from country to country.
Yeah, that was actually very weird. Yeah, because I believe that when I moved to Poland, about 2-3 months later, Vincenzo and his wife moved to Poland as well. And then, of course, it was Warsaw, and we kept meeting each other because, well, obviously, if you go abroad, then sometimes you kind of need to put like your roots to like something, or at least to get hold on to something, because that can be a shocking experience as well to change countries. And it helped each other. I believe it helped me a lot, and I think it also helped them a little bit. So we kind of got closer then, and then of course after I think after we sort of moved to England, and they also got he also got a job in England, not that far from each other, like 20 minutes by train. So
I hear that you're selling your house now. So when are you moving to Düsseldorf?
We already bought one here. So
it's a bit tricky to move the new house to Düsseldorf.
Yeah, that's yeah, but that was really funny actually, and I don't know how that happened because, well, UK is big enough, right? And we were in Leicester and they were in Nottingham, which is like really half hour by train. And yeah, was fun. So yeah, all around the countries. So I don't know what's with Germany or if it will happen ever, but just saying. How did you guys come together?
But that's the weird thing, because the reason we approached him and asked if he would, like to do a remix, for the album, it's based on the fact that, perhaps the best SID musician to come out of Hungary of all times, and then a very, very prominent remixer, right? Mm-hmm. Even decorated on Remix 64, if I remember. as veteran or whatever it's called. So it's a great combination, you know. Like, so you're good at remixing SIDs, are you? And you also do SIDs. Would you? And he's doing some great stuff on both platforms. So that's why we asked. It's actually not related to that. We ended up working at the same place at Ubisoft Düsseldorf, and at the moment we're almost neighbors. That nothing to do with it. Romeo Knight also, he got a house here 10 minutes away. Why can't you?
See, it's easy.
Yeah, so Romeo, I mean, he's from here, but he's not born in Düsseldorf, but close enough. But he also lives like 10 minutes away from here with a tram. So the three of us being very close, geographically, but that's not really why we ended up on the same album. It's because of other connections before. So it is a bit funny in that sense that the three of us are here in Germany, and then same thing that there's a bunch of guys in the UK that are not that far off from each other. Am I right, Peter? And you also ended up on the up. So it's like two factions.
I mean, Glyn is an hour. Fred is about an hour from me. Tomsk is the furthest. He's kind of about 3 hours away from me, up on the northeast coast.
Wow.
So we got the UK, we got England, and we got Germany. So now we just need to get somebody from France in, so we can just go in there and
bridge in.
And that's how the European Union was made.
European Sidian.
Yeah, I don't think the UK musicians would accept somebody from France. There's too much history there. But yeah, you're lucky that we accepted you living in Germany. Really.
Okay.
Don't mention the war.
I'll take it.
Lala and Düsseldorf, the Silicon Valley of Sid music. All right. So how about playing something from Vincenzo? Not from the album, but definitely can show his potential.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yep. This would be Psycho's The Lost Black Sabbath Tapes. If anyone wouldn't know this track, you should. Yeah, that track rocks. And yeah, Peter, how do you feel about this track? It feels like it's
Well, definitely got the Sabbath reference, without a doubt. It definitely feels that way. Yeah, I think he definitely nailed the kind of Black Sabbath feel. Without a doubt. Yeah, good track.
yeah, good track.
Yeah, good track.
Yeah, and at this point, if anyone has further questions as well to the guys, just shoot on Discord. I think probably the easiest is, should we ask it like into the public thing where we will see it? So maybe one of us will notice it, at least. Because
yes, and I can answer mine in German, and Peter can answer his by interpretative dancing.
Okay, that sounds great to me.
Yeah,
That's a good start.
As long as he doesn't fall down the stairs at the back of the room there, it's fine, I think.
They're a lot further back than they look like on those stairs.
Okay. Good. So
You'd be surprised, Slaygon. You'd be surprised what this man is capable of.
Yeah, between
he has very long legs, I know.
you can maybe just see, but between me and the stairs, can you see the silver case on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay, so that silver case.
Your other left.
There. That's an 88 key stage piano.
Nice.
So that goes all the way.
Yeah.
Before you hit the stairs. So that kind of gives you some idea of the length backwards before I'm in danger of having a pensioner accident. An old man accident.
We promised Toms that we're never gonna mention falling down the stairs or sleeping.
No.
Stairs. No.
We mustn't talk about that. We mustn't talk about
So anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So we got 7 artists and featuring about how many tracks? 13 tracks. So how did you cope with some of you doing 1 and some of you doing 2 tracks?
Did they just decide
or it's
that
like
they wanted to do 2, or?
No, actually, we weren't supposed to. We had an idea first. It was 3 people who had an idea, and it turned into many more people. And initially, it was 3 people. Like, how do we fill up an album? Because Boss was involved. Actually, if you go to the Google Drive original folder, is called BCD because of Boss, Clarke, and Danko. And then not everybody had time to do all the things needed to be done. But the thing is that like, how do we do a full album? Yeah, so let's do 3 each, and then we do collabs. And then we started with that, and then things changed, and but maybe we should ask more friends. And then we asked more friends, and even some people who weren't friends at the time but now are very good friends. So that just made it like, okay, so we don't need to do lots of tracks. And I had already done mine by then, so that's a bit embarrassing. And we actually canned some of the collaboration ideas or remixing each other ideas, and just for the favor of others to add their tracks, so that's kind of what came out of it. So yeah, that's why we have more tracks from Peter and me initially, and then everybody else came along. But actually, some people got more than 1 track, not just us, right?
So Mr. Brown specifically has 2 tracks, one of which is mixed in his he's arranged in his more orthodox cinematic style, but the other one definitely isn't the Glenn R. Brown that you know. And for me, Danko can give you his own opinion, but for me, the track that isn't the orthodox cinematic track is an absolute killer track from Glenn.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite, but it's among them.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So I can't fathom the when you listen through the album. I think there's a lot of great remixes out there. and it's like you take the best ones, or at least the ones that you like, you favor yourself, and then you hold it up against the ones coming in on this album, and the quality across the board is just so high. But I also think because everybody spent a lot of time on it, and to be honest, I've released singles and remixing commercial artists, and I never put in that many hours into that stuff as opposed to what I did on this album.
Wow.
And everybody else been really, burning the midnight oil and spending a lot of time. So it's I think that you'll find hopefully that the quality is really, really, really high across the board. So it's difficult to pick a favorite, because the next day that's the favorite and tomorrow that's the favorite. But the quality is just amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, this sounds really teasing. And we have questions. Paranoid Droid. First question to Peter. What is your favorite Sid music of all time, and why?
I'd actually read it out the corner of my eye before you asked me.
Uh-huh.
And I just gave it a thought. And it's really, really tough to pick. I can't pick one Sid. There's no way. I don't think anybody could just pick one Sid and go, that's my favorite Sid of all time. I love Monty on the Run. Mm-hmm. I love Shadowfire. In fact, I like quite a few of Fred's, and I like quite a few of Rob's tracks. Ben Dalglish is another one. There are tracks in there, Firelord and a few other tracks in there that you just go, wow, they're such good tracks. My favourite Sids are the ones that I remember playing games to, and they are the Sids which are probably quite relative to the game. And what I mean by that is that whoever the Sid composer was, they actually went and listened to a brief and understood what the game was, and then they went away and wrote some music for it. I think that certainly in the mid 80s, so many games, for me, in my humble opinion, had music that didn't in any way suggest to you, if you just listened to the Sid, you would never guess what the game was, or even what genre the game was. And so for me, some of the best Sid music is the Sid music that's most representative of the games that I played. Monty on the Run, Shadowfire I played. I love Uridium as well, which is just a weird short little tune. That's one that I've looked at time and time again and thought, where can I take that? Where can I take that? I've not found the answer yet, but I suspect I probably will, and I'll end up with a Uridium remix at some point, without a doubt. Mr. Danko, do you want to have a crack at that?
He has his own question.
Was ist deine Lieblings-Sid-Musik aller Zeiten und warum?
Ich glaube, ich habe nicht nur ein. Ich habe 99 Lieblings-Sid-Musiken.
99?
Liedern, ja.
Okay.
Aber vielleicht Ocean Tape Loader 2.
Not the third, not at all. Important to highlight.
Actually, having been spending a lot of time listening to modern stuff, and I listen to it, on a regular basis, I really, the last year or so, I've been looping way more than I probably should for my own mental well-being. But a lot of stuff from there are particular songs with Dane and particular tracks with Flex that are just so melodic and are harmonic. I wake up in the morning and they just loop in my head, before I even listen to them. And then like, damn you Flex, damn you Dane, and the earworms. But also there's a lot of new stuff from Shogun and other, not newcomers really, but compared to some of us, I guess. So it's difficult now to have eine Lieblings-Sidleider. But Martin Galway, Ocean Tape Loader 2, if I have to pick one. But I don't really
What a disappointing take for Peter.
But I think it's a very good pick, though.
Yeah, it is a very good pick.
Yeah. I think mine is actually one of Fred's mutants.
Look at that.
Yeah.
But
favored...
I never got it. A game about
No,
ants that don't speak. I mean, we know they don't speak. They're ants, mute ants. I have no idea what that is about.
Yeah, I bought the game for the music. I never played it.
Yeah, I think you and thousands of others, Slaygon.
Yeah.
Did anybody actually understand the game?
Nah. The weirdest
I mean,
shit
speaking
ever.
to Fred about it, Fred kind of gives you the brief that he got, but even he doesn't really understand. He knows lots of trivia about the game, but not what you do to win it.
Or what you're even supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we talk about that, I would vote in that. If we mention Ocean Loader, I'm sorry, but I still favor the third one. I just love how Peter goes to bonkers with that part that follows the second Ocean Loader to like basics. So how about working with your own things, Peter? Because we would love to show a preview here. And this is remixing your own thing. So is it any different than remixing someone else's thing?
I think that there were kind of a few tracks because of the names that were on the album that you kind of think, I expect those tracks to be on there. Bubble Bobble and Ocean Loader 3 were the two from me that you would expect to see on there. And I suspect Mutants and Shadowfire were the two that you would expect to see from Fred. And indeed, those four are on there. Bubble Bobble was never supposed to be me. Bubble Bobble originally was with somebody else. And just different circumstances dictated that it bounced back to me at quite a late stage in the development. And so with both Ocean Loader 3 and with Bubble Bobble, for me, the mission uppermost in my mind was, I need to take both of these somewhere different. I need to take them both somewhere where they've never really been before. And Ocean Loader 3 has kind of three genres within one in that track. And Bubble Bobble...
you even had to make it into... you actually did the Ocean Loader 3 on Encore64. You did it as two separate tracks, didn't you? Because they were so different, then we spliced it together later on, right?
The instrumentation is so different between kind of the first part that I wrote and the second part that I wrote, that it would have ended up something ridiculous, like about 65 tracks in Reaper. And so
that's just the intro on a Glyn track, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just really chopped it into two, so that I ended up with kind of 30 tracks in Reaper on each part of the remix. Mm-hmm. And as Danko quite rightly says, I just literally wrote it so that there was a natural joining point, and we've just put them together post-production so that it became one track. And Bubble Bobble goes somewhere where, let's just say, Bubble Bobble goes to the dark side.
Oh.
Actually, I have a question from GoHanks that kind of ties into the Bubble Bobble thing here. Not kind of, it does. Not to the remix, but the original. He says, I want the full story on how you got involved with Bubble Bobble in the first place. This game is my brain's firmware by now.
So back in the mid 80s, in the wild west of software development, I was working at Ocean Software in Manchester, and about 500 yards down the road, down Oxford Road in Manchester, just before the train station, there was an upstairs office which was occupied by a company called Software Creations. Prior to going to Ocean, a guy called Paulie Hughes had introduced me to Software Creations, and I'd done one or two little jobs for them, and then I got my own. I got hired by Ocean, and then Richard Kay asked me whether or not I would do Bubble Bobble. Obviously, I was employed by Ocean. However, it was the wild, wild west. There were no such things really as employment contracts as such, and there's certainly nothing coming anywhere near an exclusivity clause or a conflict of interest clause or anything of the kind. And I just said to Richard Kay, "Yep, I'll do it for you." I knew it was a massive, massive contract for software creations to have that license from Firebird. And so I knew that it needed to be really, really good and really, really close to the arcade. But hopefully with the SID's own little flair to it. I probably spent getting on for 3 months on the SID music. And most of that wasn't the arrangement and the composition. Most of that, the arrangement and the composition was done, and it was just going back and listening to the arcade on a cassette tape, and then listening to what I'd done on the SID chip and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, so that we ended up with the version that we all know on the Commodore 64. It's kind of stood the test of time, and I'm quite proud of the fact that it has stood the test of time. So yeah, that's the story behind it. Eventually Ocean dragged me into the senior director's office and started to talk about me working for this other company just 500 yards down the road while they were giving me a monthly paycheck. And what should we say? We had a frank exchange, and I moved along and continued to work freelance, no longer working for Ocean after that. But yeah, it was the mid-'80s in software development and games. It was just the Wild West. The stuff that was going on is stuff that would be unheard of today.
Growing industry and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'd go Hanks out. That answers your question, and that gives you the inside skinny on Bobble.
And that takes us to 2021 from the mid-'80s. And now your remix of Bobble, the final master, as we call it.
Deca-da-doom.
And this is what you call the dark side, Peter?
Yeah, the devil's music, country and western.
Okay, so this is why.
And
Got
fade
it.
outs are again for lamers.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a fade.
No,
out,
that was just a
that was
chord.
a proper ending.
Yeah, just a chord. Oh, Deca-da-doom down.
Secretly, I expected some sort of cinematic dark vibes there,
It
completely
is very
going.
cinematic and dark if you think about it.
Yeah, right. In a Western movie, especially.
I'm thinking more Benny Hill, but maybe that's just me.
Be honest, that's the kind of music that you could hear in a Quentin Tarantino movie while
Very
somebody's
much so, yeah.
hacking
Okay.
bodies up left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You know?
Okay, that works.
Yeah. No, it's always been a joke in the bands that I've played in, that we've often done tracks, we've often done songs by bands like the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers, but I've always said to the audience that we've never strayed fully to the dark side. So they're classed as country rock tracks, but you never go fully to country and western. You never go all the way over. So that's why it's kind of known as the devil's music, the dark side. But it's just a joke, obviously. It's just a line.
Yeah, I mean, I know country is controversial for many people, I guess. So, and of course, many people love it, and many people hate it. So that's
Well,
why it's controversial.
It's a genre that has been, let's say, sparse in the remix community. There aren't that many remixes out there.
Yeah, this is perhaps my top 2 favorite dueling banjo Sid remix ever. Yeah.
Top 2, right? Yeah.
There is no third one.
Yeah. So it was really just a case of saying, where can I take this tune, and how can I add another genre to Encore64 that isn't there already? And that genre definitely isn't there already. No question at all.
Did you play the banjo yourself?
I certainly did not. Yeah, no, there are within the tracks that I've produced for Encore64, there's a mixture of live guitar playing and also programming within the DAW. I'll leave it to you, to the listeners, to decide which is the live guitar and which is the program guitar. I think there's more fun that way. One of the things which we said right from the word go about legendary music brought from the past into the future, into the present by legends, was that we would never say which the legendary tracks were, and we would never point out who the legends were. That's entirely up to the listeners of the album to decide who they are, how many, if any.
So,
so
yeah,
that's your choice. You choose your legends and your legendary music.
We've been told that there wasn't enough legends, so maybe next time. Sorry.
I added a subtitle under the Encore64 in the video stream. It says legendary something something something.
Yeah, that's it. That probably sums it up. We should have maybe entitled it, Encore64, music by blokes who've been around the block a time or two.
That sounds like stealing from Jenny from the block.
Yep.
Well, sure beats the other one, Mariah Carey.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word.
Mariah Carrier, carrier signal, plus.
Miss Vibrato herself, Mariah Carey.
Well, yeah, I know it can be interpreted many ways. Whoa, but still, I'm getting Germanized here. Still,
Das ist gut.
She's halfway there already.
Yeah, well, no, it's. I still think she has a great singing voice. I know that some people might be annoyed by that, but I still appreciate it. So, Sorry, guys.
I guess that you can't correlate a fantastic vocal performance with taste is the problem, perhaps.
You can't knock Mariah Carey's voice in terms of the quality of it. I think that people have just picked up on the fact that she, if we call it riffing, vocal riffing, where shifting of pitch on the end of notes, she can definitely overdo it now and again.
Now and again.
Oh, I'm being gentle.
Yeah, but it's...
marrying the head of Sony Records had nothing to do with it either when it comes to making a career.
Oh, Andrew Kroll has a bit of a thing on the genres there. Missing genres, he says. How about death metal, rap, and if you really want awful remixes, disco?
I would argue. Yeah, I would maybe pull disco out of that list. I've definitely used elements of disco, not full on maybe, but I've definitely used elements of disco. I think Space Harrier had elements of disco on it, and that kind of hit remix of the year for both Commodore 64 and Amiga last year. And if you listen to that remix, that's definitely got elements of disco in it, no question at all.
Oh yeah.
There was actually a track that we didn't finish for this album that is very disco. We're talking like 70s disco that Peter started on. We're not gonna disclose what that was. We'll see in the future maybe for another project. So disco was actually happening. What else did you say? Metal. Yeah, so Romeo Knight is doing progressive metal. So maybe that's
not death metal though, eh?
Not death metal. But it is we're talking Mesa Boogie amps and all that stuff. And the drums are very metal. What else did you say?
Rap.
Yeah, so I got shut down because I had ideas to do stuff like that on some tracks, and Peter said no.
I don't think
you
no
would need
was
Monkey
the
for
word I used,
that.
but...
Oh, okay, you said fuck no, but I think it sends the same message, just like you didn't have to go that hard on me, is what I'm saying.
If he'd done that, it would have meant Go Hanks writing me a whole new filter.
Still hurts.
So I've got my own UNTS filter on this channel, which Danko, you may have seen it pop up earlier on, but Danks very kindly wrote me a trigger routine. When I type a certain thing, it says Pete's best UNTS filter is now engaged. And which Go Hanks very kindly wrote for me.
So maybe you need a rap filter now as well.
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh yeah.
it's a tough genre for me. I mean, let's be honest. It's poetry and drums. I kind of struggle with it as music, I must admit. But I've turned 60, so I'm allowed to be belligerent about certain genres of music. I'm allowed to be a grumpy old man now.
Forbidden Forest, Mackay, maybe ever so slightly, a bit, maybe.
A bit what, Erica?
Just maybe a bit.
Mackay,
you
what?
don't like it, Mackay and Forbidden Forest. Just a little bit of rap, just a tiny bit. Maybe you like it a bit. No,
I think it has its place.
now you put him in his place.
Yeah, but that's generally not in my playlist.
Okay, well,
He
there's
did an
no
amazing
for you.
Gianna Sisters, DHS and Mac and Gianna Sisters. That's awesome stuff.
It is
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome rap, Peter. Awesome rap.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep the scene alive.
You just put two words together in the same sentence I've never heard before. Awesome and rap. Yeah.
Well, here's two other words that I'm going to put together for you.
Go on.
Mackie good.
Yeah, no, Mackie good, definitely, and DHS good, it's just awesome and rap. It's It's an illness with me. I'm sorry. I'm old now. It's an illness.
Okay.
You got 99 problems, and all of them are rap tracks. Get it.
Oh well. Shall we also play something from Romeo Night, since I don't think we played a song from him tonight?
Yeah, I think he deserves
So
an
maybe-
outing, definitely.
Yeah,
that
and
would be-
it's not a death metal track, but was it
With his bionic
Pantera?
arms.
No, is it Pantera-inspired track when the guitarist in Pantera died? I guess it was. Or no, the singer. Who died? Or was it Pantera? Some
The
metal-
guitarist, the
metal-
singer, a
Yeah,
band member.
yes.
Maybe that's easier than
Yeah,
right.
I thought it was a guitarist.
Yeah.
But anyway, tribute track to him, essentially.
Yep, Speedball, and this is featuring Batman.
underrated track there by Romeo Knight, I think.
I like that.
You need help over there.
I'm fine.
Okay then.
Kind of like those as well. And if it goes to very much death metal, then I start to laugh at it. And I don't know why, but that's what death metal does to me. I just think it's very funny when the whole track is about that. So I have a hard time taking it seriously, I guess. So it's like it's funny, but it's a really really good quality track. So that
It is.
It's very loud music as a genre. That's why it's called death metal. And then when you lose your hearing, you have to play even louder, and it's like it never ends.
So it's a death
It
spiral.
ends at Saint Anger. That's where it ends, loudness wise.
Good reference there.
Yeah, we're aiming at the 10.5 LUFS for this album, normalization wise.
Nice, nice.
okay. And, yeah, I
No,
guess.
without.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Only just bubble. The rest are quieter. Yeah.
So that's the thing when you don't have the unts going. That it's, if you're not careful, you can master the other like symphonic and more laid back tracks ridiculously loud. And then your dance tracks, they're not loud in comparison. So that's also been a thing where I've just been focusing on mastering every track, as it is by itself if it was a single, and then I put them together and string them up and see the transitions, if the tonality is compatible, if the stereo width and loudness is compatible, and I do that as a second pass in January, as I said, because otherwise it's like, you can really crank up some of the symphonic stuff, but you can't crank up the dunka as much.
Yeah, that sounds a really challenging job for you then, to get a balance between like 13 very different soundscapes, right?
Oh,
I'm not sure I know what I gotten myself into, to be honest. I have been able to mix a couple of tracks that weren't mine, and I kind of had an idea in the back of my head about certain parts of the tonality and the soundscape to match with a bunch of other tracks that were ready at the time, and then I hope that some of the other tracks, when I master them, I make them kind of sound similar. But it is a challenge, like, because it's such a diverse range of styles. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to make it sound cohesive. You can let me know next month if I screwed up or not.
Regarding the
Curious.
LUFS level you referenced earlier, Paranoid Droid said, so, radio ready.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, and radio
That's
is
what that is.
compressing too. So, yeah, I wonder how it will end up. Have you ever had such a diverse project, Danko? Because we
It's
know.
usually been the other way around, that an album or an EP is very similar from track to track. I've done a bunch of remix stuff with some other musicians from the scene over the last couple of 5-6 years, and even though they are different, it's still a very electronic, and so it's not as difficult. So this has been and will be a challenge, but it's that's how you grow and evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly. Yeah, that sounds like a great challenge to me. And we are eager to wait for the result. So, very curious what will happen. And I guess now it's, 1.5 months until it comes out officially. And for now, it's only digital release, right?
It is
Yes, we know
indeed.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
It was a decision we took based on just the way that the majority of people now consume music, and digital downloads seemed the logical choice, the logical way to go.
And
there were a couple of other reasons for going that route, but that was the main one. It was just really that's the way most people are used to getting hold of music.
Yeah. And it's going to be published on all of the streaming sites and all of that, like Apple
we
Music.
just got digital download for now.
Okay. So no streaming.
No, not to begin. I mean, maybe at some point in the future, but certainly not.
When nobody cares about the music anymore, we can put it online for posterity.
Archive it in the cloud.
Together with all the other albums I released that nobody listens to.
You know that's not true. So that's kind of the plan. 26th of January is launch day, and just by way of something coming, a little thing coming full circle, Boz will actually do the launch for us on the Hump Show on Wednesday the 26th of January, and where kind of personal circumstances stopped him from being a remix contributor to the album, he gets to actually jump right back in and be the person that launches the album on nice. The 26th of January. So I'm really happy about that aspect. That cheered me up no end. So that's the kind of release date. If you wish to pre-order the album, you can. The website is all live, and people can pre-order the album if they want to. And as we've been demonstrating tonight, there's little bits of merchandising on there as well. Nice T-shirts, if mine can stay in focus.
I must have hit the wrong button. I don't know what happened.
Let me refresh that button here. Oh, hold on a second. I must have put you on the wrong green screen.
What does that say on your shirt? Foresight.
No. This is. I'm trying to be badass. This is dangerous in Swedish. Farligt.
Right. Okay, got you.
I'm dangerous.
Yeah, you are dangerous. That's absolutely true. He invited me to come and see him in Dusseldorf, and I'm like, no.
No way.
So yeah.
I know how that ends. It ends up like 6 o'clock in the morning in a taxi on the way somewhere weird. I don't know. It always ends fine.
You don't even know weird, Peter. Kenneth showed me weird right after that taxi ride in Gothenburg.
Yeah, well,
you have no idea, Peter.
You don't think 40 years playing in bands that you get exposed to weird at some point in that journey?
That does explain a lot, though.
It does. There are stories I could never tell on this channel, you know?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm serious. That's stories I could never tell, absolutely. I'll pip up and say thank you so much, Erica and Kenneth, for having us on this evening. It's been nice to see you both face to face and have
it's been a while.
Yeah.
A good old chat, really, more than anything else. And thank you so much for supporting the album and having us on to talk about it.
Thank you so much for introducing it to us, and we are eager to wait for the final results, and really looking forward to that. So it's only 1.5 months now, and everyone can go and pre-order on Encore64.com. So just to make sure to post the URL, because my pronunciation is never the best, as you can guess.
Well, so you can read it on screen. It says so right there, Encore64.com.
No spaces.
No spaces.
No spaces.
Yeah, and no line feeds.
Yeah, exactly.
And .com at the end.
Now I'm gonna copy there to Discord at least, so it will be there.
www.encore.com. There was a misunderstanding when we registered the domain.
Sounds a bit like the old telegraph times.
I mean, as much fun as we can make out of Peter's. I mean, he basically telegraphed the whole album in, didn't you? No, it's called
bit by bit.
No, it's called phoned it in. That's what that is.
No, you and Slaygon You and Slaygon are the telephone boys. I had nothing to do with that.
Ah, good comeback.
If just as a little sidebar, Encore64 has its own Facebook page as well. So if anybody wants to dive on and follow the page, just for snippets of information, updates, we may switch around with the merchandising as time progresses. And obviously, if we do that, we would publish on the Facebook page and let everybody know that the deals have changed and you can get hold of maybe different stuff. Or
we're also planning on releasing some previews and some behind-the-scenes stuff on the Facebook page. Actually, when Romeo Knight is working on Shadowfire, he is filming this in the studio.
Oh.
So there might be some stuff where you can see him playing these things.
Very, very
For instance, there might be other things. So stay tuned.
Nice. Looking
Awesome.
forward to that as well. So, oh well, then it seems like we kind of approached the end of the evening. It seems like, and it just flew away. So
Yeah, I
It
didn't
did.
even
It went
realize
very
what
quickly.
time it is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just looked down.
And this time when we meet, I didn't have to marry somebody for you to come and see me like last time. I hope I don't have to get married a second time just to see you again. My friends.
did you
I
get
don't want
divorced?
that.
Did you get divorced from Slaygon before you married your current wife?
No, that's under the radar kind of a
Is it
marriage.
on the DL, on the down low?
Yeah.
No, we're Mormons, not morons. There's a difference.
yeah, would be happy to visit Düsseldorf at some point. And as we know, you guys are kind of piled up there, so we can do a big gathering as well. Well, after
Just scoop you guys up.
yeah. And I understand most of the language anyway, so I'm gonna make sure that they don't steal Slaygon at least, because he doesn't. So it's gonna be good. We will see where we get from here. So
But guys, so fucking nice to have you on. It was a blast, and time just flew by. I didn't even realize we had actually gotten to 11 o'clock. Last time I looked at the clock, it was like 9:30.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
thank you.
That's what happens when you let me talk for a while.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Love you guys.
And-
Miss you.
And thank you from me as well. And thanks for tuning in, everybody that tuned in. Thank you for the questions. Yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you so much, Slaygon. Thank you so much, Ziona.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for the whole album and all your work that you put in as well. And looking forward to the result. And I guess just to shout out for everyone else, you know that for live shows on other days of the week, you can go to Boss Radio and you can definitely check the schedule. And of course, the main man Boss is doing his shows on Wednesdays, but you can also meet Ziduder, Cactus, Matt Ricardo, and Kizikoni. And I really hope I told everyone currently that are featured there, but if not, then apologies. So you can always check bossradio.com /schedule. And yes, I'm right. So about that.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm so happy I'm right. Actually, I just double checked because I needed to. And we will be back next week. Hopefully with more normal circumstances.
What do
So
you mean, hopefully? This is lovely. I would love to do this every week.
no, that's very, very, very great that we did this. We are just living from boxes right now, so I'm looking forward to actually get away from that circumstance at least. And
Definitely.
that's gonna happen next week, hopefully. And everyone have a very calm kind of preparing to these holidays that are approaching. Hopefully don't make too much fuss out of that. I order almost everything online. I definitely recommend to do that if you don't want to kind of go to the crowd and shop and all of that. And I guess that's it for today or tonight. And Lord Evil had the request that will close the evening, which would be a perfect exit song. It's Marcel Donnay's Sweet, and we picked the early work print.
The best one ever.
Yes, that's why I picked
I can
it.
still see Marcel's toes curling when he hits those notes on the CS80.
Yep, and everyone, see you next week. Hope we told about everything that we
Thanks,
needed to.
guys.
He says, thank you very much, everyone, for keeping up with us here and chatting and everything. And I'm hitting the
Peter,
microphone.
and thank you, Thomas.
Yes,
And
thank you
Bye-bye,
once again.
Auf
Thank you.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Have a very good night
Bye.
and sweet dreams. Bye.
There is a disturbance in the stream. Admiral, move the fleet to Slay Radio. I want that free TCP packet.